was I was going to get to that bridge and be able to fish on my own, moving to Florida. The other thing was, my brother played Pop Warner football in Massachusetts, and I was 1 or 2 years too young to play. So I'd go to the park and I'd watch my brother play football. And as soon as I got over the bridge and I couldn't see the water anymore, my next thought was, I'm going to play football this year. So those are the two big things when we moved down here. But to get back to fishing, to get back the difference between selling ads or making content to sell ads, I learned how to fish in the canal system, and I was pretty good at catching the snooks and the tarpon, and we were always working at it. And my dad was really into the offshore fishing and made a lot of friends and had a good network. He was doing the blue marlin thing all over the world, and I was fortunate enough to go with him. But my point is like, the whole time I ever started fishing, it was all about catching big fish. It was never about selling anything. And then one day my dad says, Jeff, he says, let's go down to that spot where you've been catching all those tarpon and snooks, and we're going to bring Tom Green down there and Mark Sosa. And I was like, Mark Sosa? I was like, I watch him on TV. And I was totally like floored. I'm like, I'm going to go fishing with the guy that fishes on TV. This is Mark Sosa. So we go down to the hot water canal here in Fort Lauderdale, back when they used to let you fish in Port Everglades. And the hot water canal was a canal that was a discharge from FP&L, and the water would flow out of there at about 90 degrees, and the tarpon absolutely loved it in there. So we get in my dad's sport fish boat, believe it or not, like a 35-foot sport fish convertible type boat. We roll down there to the hot water canal. We anchor up in the mouth of the hot water canal, and Sosin breaks out this big bag of plastic lures. And he wanted to test these lures so he could market and sell these lures. And as a kid, I didn't understand about ad dollars and what ad dollars did to this, journalist and the way the whole thing worked and everything. But what was going through my mind as we're casting these plastic jigs over the fish that I've been crushing for the last month is we're not getting a whole bunch of strikes, we're getting a fish here and there. And I'm like, if these idiots would just put out a live shrimp, or better yet, a live mullet, we would have caught like 10 nice fish already. And it's driving me crazy. I'm sitting in the back of the boat and I'm looking at these so-called fishing experts and I'm like, Jesus. I go, if we simply float a mullet back there, we'll totally crush them. So the night goes by and, I'm thinking to myself, well, God, these guys, really didn't do a very good job down there at the hot water canal. As soon as I get back down there, I'm going to fish with a shrimp or a mullet, and I'm going to crush these things again. And I didn't think too much about it. Years went by, and I got a little older, and I got a little more savvy, and I started to pay attention to what was going on. And I realized that was the first time that somebody wanted to fish with me so they could sell ads. And, that was much later in my life when I realized that that's what happened. So when Lamont and I started making the internet content, the last thing we ever thought about was selling out what we do to catch big fish to sell an ad. And I really truly believe that all the successful YouTubers, all the successful fishing shows, these guys, that have these huge, huge followings, they're chasing ad revenue, and the content they're feeding you is because of ad revenue. We never looked at it that way. And then the best thing about never looking at it that way and going on that way is that we found an audience that appreciated that type of content.
Let's talk about the audience that actually appreciated it. I mean, I think that we've got some of the nicest people out there in our network. I mean, like you and I have spoken many times about how there's so many guys like they want to be nice to you.
Well, I think they appreciate the fact that we never put any obstacles in their way. We only wanted them to see the way we caught fish and never put any obstacles in their way. And what I mean by that is I think that the fishing community, everybody says, oh, well, we're here to help the fishing community. We're here to help the fishing community.
No.
And basically what they're doing is, it's not like the fishing community can't get good at fishing by watching this stuff or whatever. But it's like a maze. Let's go down to the end here. Oh, no, this didn't work. So let's go this other way. Oh, no, well, this guy said this, so let's go this other way. And then finally, the guys that have the perseverance get through and are able to, you know, systematically get better at fishing or catch the fish that they want to fish or whatever.
See, when I hear you say that, it makes me think back to, you know, how you were saying, you know, you watch all these different, listen to all these different podcasts, watch all these different shows. Everybody says, oh, this is what we're using, this is the best way to use, this is the best. Everybody seems to have the best way.
Everybody's got the answer.
Yes. What I've learned, because I fell into that trap for a while too, where I started going, maybe I should try doing it this way or doing it that way. Whatever way works for you and has been working for you consistently, that's the best way, is what I found.
Well, yeah. I mean that's normal. Now, so you go along and you're thinking that, and you're you're doing pretty good on the snooks or whatever, and then you watch some fishing show.
Mm-hmm.
Some guy's throwing some plastic jig, and he's freaking crushing the snook on this plastic jig. So what do? You go out there, you buy that plastic jig, and it fails for you. And what that did is that derailed you from the system that you were making by yourself just fine. And that's what I mean by they've created like a maze that they make fishermen go through. And it's basically to sell ad space.
Yep. No, I mean, that happened to me last year. For 2 years in a row, I was crushing snooks on the beach. I had found a way that worked for me. I never had an issue with it. And all of a sudden, I started listening to podcasts, watching a few more shows, heard what they were using, saw what they were using. And all of a sudden, I went over to Bass Pro and Dick's, and I decided to buy it. And I absolutely had barely any luck last year.
Well, the other thing, too, is I really think the audience cozies up to us because we're straight with them.
Yeah.
I mean, when we told them that the chicken and the mullet have the same gizzard,
They believed it.
the chicken and the mullet have the same gizzard.
It's the truth.
Well,
It's scientific truth.
It's scientific truth. We preached it. We told people they could Wikipedia it. And then we did a video on it. And now it's scientific fact. There's proof out there that the chicken and the mullet have the same gizzard. Now, I would challenge any TV show. I would challenge any other YouTuber. I would challenge any other content maker to enlighten their audience on something that wasn't designed to sell ads, but was designed to have a good time and designed to talk about, and designed to make videos about so we can all hang out and laugh and have a good time. And that's right, the chicken and the mullet have the same gizzard.
Or how about the power casts? You're not trying to sell any particular kind of rod or reel. You're just out there just showing you're having a good time.
Right, the PowerCast video, it's about power casting. You get on the friggin' seawall and you chunk it just as far as you can. And it's not like we invented power casting. Everybody's done it.
Yeah.
If you're into fishing and you're into, having casting rods and stuff, you get somewhere and you try to chunk that bitch. You know what I mean? So the power casting video, people can relate to. It's power casting. Everybody has done it in some form or fashion or way. If you've been fishing for a long time, it's power casting. Lamont has always had